Welcome to the bulletin. And in our first story, Ghana has seen a 17% rise in the number of suspected murder cases in the first 3 months of this year compared to the same period in 2020. Between January and March, 144 people were allegedly killed, a sharp rise over the 123 of last year. Interior Minister Ambrose Derry, who shared the worrying statistics, assured that the government is committed to ensuring justice for all these persons, including those high-profile cases recorded in previous years, such as those who passed during the recent elections. He said the government is committed to investigating every criminal offense to its logical conclusion. Let's explore this further, and we will soon be joined by Ranking Member of the Defence and Interior Committee of Parliament, James Agalga. Mr. Agalga has joined us by phone. We've also been joined by Adib Sani, who is a security analyst. Let me begin with you, Mr. Agalga. Are you surprised that we are seeing this higher number of deaths in the first 3 months of the year? Right, Mr. Agalga, if you can hear me, we want to get your reaction to the 144 persons who have been killed this year. Right, we'll soon establish contact with Mr. Agalga properly, but let me go to Adib Sani, who is on our other line. Mr. Sani, if you can hear me, what do you think is attributing to the rise in number of killings this year?
Well, it's a combination of many issues, and one of it is got to do with our inability to improve crime and investigation processes in the country. I mean, it would interest you to know that most of these processes in investigating crime in the country is manual. Someone perpetrates a crime in Tamale, the same person is caught here also perpetrating another crime, and the systems are not good enough to tell us that this same person has done the same thing in the past somewhere else. I think it is time we used modern technology, such as the use of DNA databases, the use of biometrics, and I'm particularly excited finally that we are beginning to integrate these systems, which hitherto were in silos. Aside that, I think, generally, the issues of human insecurities also adds to this, because in recent times we've heard a lot about the killing for rituals and, fast way to make money and all that. But when if we really intend, or if we really have that commitment to address it, I think it should go beyond just arrest and prosecution. We should make a conscious effort to take a closer look at the human insecurities or certain socioeconomic and geopolitical deficits in our society that pushes people into committing murders as a means to survival.
Now, Mr. Agalga, Mr. Sani brings in an interesting element, saying that we should look at the deeper issues of human insecurity and economic malaise, which could be bringing up these issues about. Would you agree? Well, Mr. Agalga, are you with us? Right, unfortunately, we seem to have lost James Agalga, his ranking member of the Defence and Interior Committee of Parliament. Now, Mr. Sani, we've heard the Interior Minister, who has been expressing government's commitments to coming to the bottom of these issues. My question is, considering the lapses you mentioned earlier in our investigative processes, are you confident that we can apprehend all these people behind the crimes?
With the current regime, so far as crime and investigation is concerned, I think it will be difficult. That is why we don't seem to be able to make sense of a number of high-profile murder cases with us. I think capacity would have to be first and foremost built. In this part of the world we find ourselves, usually the first responders to crime scenes is the police. But most of these officers are not well trained. They get to the crime scene and they are even the first to compromise their integrity, or as it were, not able to even dust for fingerprints or collect, DNA and all that. Besides, there's the need for also general education, mostly in an attempt for us to capture pictures for, social media or just to see what has happened. We compromise the crime scenes. When a police officer gets there, he should be trained enough to be able to collect this evidence. We need to get more crime labs. I think the crime labs we have is not enough. I think Accra and Kumasi and even Tema. But if a crime is committed somewhere in the Upper East region, that means you would have to transport the evidence all the way to Kumasi. And we know some evidence expires, some can get contaminated in transit. So we need more crime labs. We need to create an atmosphere where crime would not be rewarding enough to perpetrate. And that is what we call situational crime prevention. Because there's always a tendency of people wanting to commit crime if they feel that the likelihood they will be left off the hook is high.
Right. Thank you very much, Adebsani, for joining us this afternoon.